One day I was very, very tired from getting my leg surgery. I had to get a whole leg replaced, and afterwards, while sitting in the hospital, I started watching Shadow Was a Money Gang show. It was a very good show. I had been watching ever since I was 2 years old during September 11th, 1998. It had been a very long time since I had watched one of the episodes, but when I was going to see what they had been doing, I had noticed something in the left corner of my scalpel. It was Shadow Was a Money Gang, Episode 0. Shadow Was a Money Gang, Episode 0. It opened up with the intro. It was a very intro-y intro. But this couldn't be right. Shadow Was a Money Gang, Episode 1 didn't have an intro. In fact, it just immediately got to the stuff. I was confused. Perhaps this was a prequel, so I continued watching. When the intro had ended, it had become weird. The episode had started with Javian and Cody all hanging out, but something was off about Javian. His mask that's supposed to say his name, instead of saying its name, it just had a picture of a fetus. I do not know why, and I was questioning myself. Perhaps I had just gone insane, or perhaps this leg injury really had taken me over. The fetus wasn't the only weird thing. Allie's name was also misspelled. It was very weird. It said Ale, which was like, why? I was very confused about this, but I continued watching, thinking it was just because of something autistic. I had been watching the episode normally. There was little flashes of light, which I had not understood. Most of the episode, Joseph Jolly was staring at the screen. He had said a couple of lines, but one that was weirdly weird. It said, Ooga Booga, hi, I am Joseph Jolly, I'm here to touch you. And then it cut to another scene with Cassie pumping Wayne. I had known that this could not be the case, due to Wayne not being an episode 1 character, and if this was episode 0, then Wayne wouldn't have existed yet. I was very confused about this. I was very confused about why Joseph Jolly was even doing any of this. I thought he was jolly. He seemed not to be. I had been sitting in front of my TV watching this series. It was very confusing. And then suddenly, I heard a knock at the window. It was dark out. Very, very dark. You couldn't even see the light because it was so dark out. When I looked outside the window, I saw nothing there. All I only saw was a mask that said, Ooga Booga, I'm coming to touch you. My name is Joseph Jolly. Those were the exact words. Even the tongue had words, which I was questioning. When I looked outside again, after not looking outside, I realized, wait a minute. Those were words. Then I heard a knock at the door. When I opened up the door, all I could see was a black man in a chair, his eyes very spooky. When I did a rethink, blinking again, I noticed he had disappeared. I was very confused about this. I questioned my sanity again. Perhaps this was Kevin Alvarez pulling a trick on me. No way, Jose. I continued watching the series. I just wanted to make sure that Joseph Jolly was not actually trying to stalk me. Perhaps it was someone else who was trying to stalk me. Maybe that wasn't Joseph Jolly. Perhaps it was Joseph Negative. My dog, Ferdinand, he was very confused about everything. He started barking randomly at the door. But when I looked outside, there was nothing. All there was cum on the floor. I had no idea why there was cum on the floor, but always when that happened, there was just one piece of note inside the cum that said, Big baby fetus. I questioned, why? Why is there fetuses all over my walls? Why? What have I done to deserve the fetus? I went on my blanket. I paid. I played. I watched an ad, but this ad was very different. This ad seemingly was for a company, but I did not know what company this ad was for. It was very, very weird. I questioned myself again. Have I been seeing stuff wrong? Perhaps this is the influence of Jesus. Maybe Jesus just wants me to see the Shadow Wizard Money Gang. Have I done something wrong? Is the Shadow Wizard Money Gang even real? Perhaps the show is correct. Maybe episode 0 is God. I had been sitting in my chair, but suddenly the chair had become much more sticky. I looked to my side, only to see more come, and of course, the fetus. But this fetus was very different. This fetus was now even feedier. Like, it was so weird. I couldn't understand on why the fetus had been even feedier. But then, on the screen, Javian turned to the screen. It was very weird. He just looked there. He pointed his ball, but I didn't understand why he was pointing his ball at the screen. Was he going to use his balls blast? Javian suddenly turned around and said, "I'm going to touch you. Touch, touch, touch." I questioned this. But then the TV shut off, and under my bed was knocking. I had no idea why there was knocking. I looked under my bed, but I saw a basketball. When I woke up, I noticed in my bed was a Javian figure from the new Javian's toy lines. I had no idea why, but this Javian, it didn't have the normal texture of Javian. The texture was a fetus. I questioned my sanity again. "What's going on?" I asked. "Am I okay? Do I need help?" I started screaming. Why is everything going crazy? What has the Shadow Wizard Money Gang show done to me? I proceeded to see what had happened. Episode 0, the title, it said, "Going to fuck." I questioned on why episode 0 was going to fuck anything, only for me to realize that it said it was going to fuck my life up, which I understood as meaning, oh no, something very, very bad is about to happen. I knew this would happen, due to the obvious implications of something bad happening. I was very scared. I had no idea what was going on. I just suddenly started coughing, randomly, when I realized that I had puked out something. I looked down to it, only to see it was the letter A. Just then, a mysterious whisper came through my head. "Did you say A? Did you say A? Did you say A?" I screamed again. No, I did not say A. In fact, the paper said A. "Did you say A? Did you say A? Did you say A?" I screamed again. Why? Help. Please save me. I don't feel like being tortured by the Shadow Wizard Money Gang show anymore. I decided that this must be episode 0's fault, since all the other episodes I had watched, nothing bad had happened. I decided to look over at episode 0 again, only to notice the thumbnail had changed. It was clear that episode 0 was haunted. It must be from some monster. I don't know what happened. My computer is fairly normal. Perhaps a virus is on the computer. But I didn't program the computer with virus, because I am Steve. But perhaps I'm not Steve. Maybe I am. The Shadow Wizard Money Gang. Maybe that is why I'm being tortured. Episode 0 ended. I was shocked. I couldn't hold myself together. I started bawling, but the tears were not mine. In fact, they were orange. I do not understand why they were orange. I decided that episode 0 could never be watched again. I went to Google Towers. I told them to delete the internet, which they did after I pulled out my shotgun on them. They decided to keep everything except episode 0. Episode 0 was the only episode to ever not exist. I searched on Google only for it to never exist. It seemed like no one had ever seen it before. Perhaps it was only me. Perhaps this was my divine purpose. Why, though? Why had the episode 0 picked me? Why? Why did I have to be scarred with the episode 0? It was so spooky. I couldn't even hold myself together. Episode 0. Very scary. I sat back down after going to headquarters of Google. Episode 0 was nowhere to be found, but it was still found in my head. I couldn't get rid of it. I laid on my bed, traumatized of what I've just seen. I could never look at a fetus again. Joseph Jolly would bring me nightmares for the rest of my life. Why was I crying orange? Questions for another day. If you ever see yourself come across episode 0, run away. Immediately delete it. Delete yourself as well, just to make sure that episode 0 does not get in your face. Episode 0. Make sure that episode 0 does not come near, or you may die. If episode 0 does come near you, you better make sure you are prepared to face it. Because if you are not prepared, episode 0 will traumatize you. You will never be the same after you watch episode 0. Episode 0. So spooky. In fact, I don't know. Episode 0 has completely fried my brain. I am no longer able to think and complete normal sentences without the idea of episode 0 coming to my house again. I am too scared now. I will no longer be leaving my household due to the episode 0 that has destroyed me. I am no longer normal. I cannot be the same. Episode 0. Why? I don't know why it was created. I don't know who did it. But whoever did it, they must face judgment. And when they are judged by the devil himself, Demon Javian, they will realize their mistake. That episode 0 is something that should have never came out. It should have been left, buried, burnt, destroyed. I cannot believe what had just happened. I would now go on my normal life, although I would now go on with the terrifying knowledge that episode 0 could always return. I could see it again while walking. Some poor schmuck could be watching. And if they were watching, I would tell them, do not watch episode 0, please.